Good morning, students. My name is Dr. Adiele, your lecturer on educational administration. I hope people are doing great and staying safe at home. This morning we will be continuing with our lectures on educational administration. But we'll be looking at the topic decision making in school system. Decision making in the school system. Under it, we shall be examining the following topics. Under it, we shall be examining the following subtopics: the meaning of decision making, types of decision making, and decision making competencies of school administrator. Let me take it again. We will be examining decision making in the school system. Under it, the following subheads shall be examined: meaning of decision making, types of decision making, and decision making competencies of school administrator. Now, every day on daily basis, at the individual level and at the household level, decisions are made on regular basis. As a student, you take decisions on regular basis. In the family, we take decisions on a regular basis. We take decisions concerning the food we eat. We take decisions concerning how we spend our time. We take decisions even on the clothes to wear. We take decisions on the relationship to keep. We take decisions on schools to attend. We take decisions on the course of study we want to pursue. All these are decisions we take on daily basis. So decision making is part of the daily activity of the human being. It's part of the daily activity of families. Every morning you decide on the family menu. What will we eat this morning? That is decision. And when you want to go out, you decide the type of clothes to wear. That is decision making. When you go to make your hair, you take a decision on the hairstyle to make. That is decision making. So every individual that is alive is involved in taking one decision or the other on a daily basis. So in a day, we find ourselves taking more than 10 decisions concerning our daily activities. So decision making is a regular occurrence among human beings. Now, if human beings and families, if at the individual levels and at the family levels, we take decisions on daily basis, decisions are also taken at the school level on daily basis. The school head also take decision on daily basis, just like the household. The school system enterprise is also involved in decision making on daily basis. Such decision borders on students' conduct, on staff conduct, on new challenges and new situations that arise in the school, and the changing environment in the school, and sometimes threats that arises here and there. So on a daily basis, the school administrator is faced with a number of issues that he has to take decisions on. Such decisions border on solving problems. Some of them may border on handling situations that may be arising in school. Some may be in response to opportunities that are created in school. Some may be to produce effects to what is happening in school. So you see, the school principal is involved in one decision or the other on daily basis. Now, most of the decisions taken, if care is not taken, will result to good or bad. Decisions taken in school or even by the individual could result to good or bad. So any decision you take and then embark on a certain action, and that thing eventually result to bad, is your decision. If you marry a husband and eventually by tomorrow you have problem with the husband, it's your decision. If you decide to go to run a program and by the end of the day the program you run didn't give you any employment, or it is your decision. So the decisions we take on daily basis affect our life. So the decision could become good or bad. So that whatever be the outcome is the direct result of the decision you have taken today. So that is why, as a school head or as a school principal, it is important that we understand what decision making is all about and the steps involved in decision making. So that is why it is very important for school administrators and those studying education to understand what decision means, types of decision, and how these decisions are to be taken. Because any wrong step taken will result to bad decision, and good steps taken will result to good decision. So it's important we know how decisions are taken, so that at each point in time we will always take the right step in decision making in the school. So the ability to take decision and compel subordinates, the ability of a school principal to take decision and make those under him to comply to those decisions is part of his management functions. The ability of the school head, be it a principal, be it a headmaster or headmistress, be it a vice chancellor, be it a head of department, be it a dean of faculty, be it a student leader or whatever, the ability to take decision and ensure that those who are under you follow that decision or implement that decision is a major responsibility of the school head or the leader. So that is why it is important at this level that you understand what decision making is all about and how to go about it, so that eventually when you find yourself in a position of leadership or in a position of being a school head, you will be able to know how to take good decisions. So based on this now, we have explained how the individuals take decisions concerning a whole lot of activities surrounding them. If that is true, then what the question now that arises is, what then is decision making? What then is decision making? So I will spare us some academic definitions here, so that it will guide us to understand well what decision making is all about. Now we'll take the first decision as defined by a known scholar in education called Perret-Morde. Perret-Morde in 2003 had defined decision making as the process of choosing from among alternatives. Let me take that again. He defined decision making as the process of choosing from among alternatives, ways of achieving an objectives or providing solution to a problem. Perret-Morde defined decision making as the process of choosing from among alternatives, ways of achieving an objective or providing solution to a problem. Similarly, two other scholars, McCain and von Glino, in 2000, defined decision making as a conscious process of making choice among one or more alternatives with the intention of moving towards some desired state of affairs. I take that again. McCain and von Glino in 2000 defined decision making as a conscious process of making choice among one or more alternatives with the intention of moving towards some desired state of affairs. Number 3, the Wikipedia. The Wikipedia defined decision making to mean the cognitive process resulting in the selection of a course of action among several alternative possibilities. Now, from the 3 definitions above, what can we say is the deduction made from there? From the definitions above, we can see that decision making involves 2 things. It involves 2 things. One is to make choice from several alternatives. So when a decision is to be taken, there must be several other options of what to do. Let's say, for example, you want to go out in the morning, all right, and then you have a lot of clothes in your wardrobe, and you have to make a decision on which one to wear. Which clothes among the several clothes do I wear? So in decision making, there are several alternatives from which a choice is made. So the bottom line of decision making here is that there are several alternatives. There are alternatives, alternative course of action, alternative other actions that you should take. But among those alternatives, you will decide on one, the one that you think that is most appropriate. You take an option. So in deciding which clothes to wear today, you look at your wardrobe and examine all the clothes and then say, let me wear this. That is decision making. You have taken a decision on the cloth to wear. Among several things that are available in the kitchen to eat in the morning, you have rice, you have beans, you have yam, and others. Then among the several options, you decide on which one to take. You make a choice from among alternatives. So first, in decision making, there are alternatives, and then second, there is a choice to make. The summary of all the definition here is that in decision making, there is always alternative choices to make, and from those alternative choices, you now make a preference by choosing the best option. That is what decision is all about. Understand it well again. In decision making, there are several alternative options or choices to make, and the individual who is involved in making the decision now chooses from the best option or best alternative among the list of preferences available to him. He now chooses one, and when you do that, you have taken a decision. So decision simply means choosing from several alternatives the best option. Choosing from several alternatives the best option or the best course of action to be taken in any given problem situation. All right. So having explained what decision making is all about and the meaning of decision making, so let's make progress and examine types of decision. Types of decision. We have basically here, for the purpose of this class, we have basically here 4 types of decision making. 4 types of decision making that is available to the school administrator. 4 types of decision making that is available to the school administrator. Let me name them. 1. Program decision making. 1. Program decision making. 2. Non-program decision making. 2. Non-program decision making. 3. Intermediary decision making. 3. Intermediary decision making. 4. Appellate decision making. 4. Appellate decision making. So let's examine them one after the other. The program decision making. Programmed decision making. These are decisions in which the process to be followed in making the decision is already laid down. Program decisions are decisions in which the process to arrive at the decision is already laid down for us. So what we do here is follow the rules that is already laid down, and then you arrive at the decision. Let me give example here. In the school, in the university, using Ignatius Ajero. Now, allocation of students to the hostel. Allocation of students to the hostel is a program decision. It's a program decision because the rule governing the allocation of students to the hostel is already laid down. So the policy in the school is fresh students and final year students. Fresh students and final year students. So the director of student affairs now allocates students to hostel based on this rule. First year, final year. So if you are a first year student, it's automatic for you to get hostel. If you're a final year student, it's automatic for you to get hostel. The rule has already been made. So the decision maker now follows that rule. So any type of rule, any type of decision that occurs under such type of situation is called programmed decision making. Right, then the second type of decision making is non-program decision. Non-program decision. Non-program decisions occur when there are no ready-made decisions or rules governing how such decisions will be made. There are rules, there are decisions made that does not have a laid down procedure on how such rules can be made. There are rules, there are decisions that emanate as a result of emergency situations. Then you must take a decision. So emergency situations in school can result to a certain decision. For example, if student riots in a university, the students are involved in riot, the school authority quickly take a decision to close down the school. So such decisions that are not the direct result of laid down procedures, existing laid down procedures, come under non-programmed decision. So as a school principal, you should be able to know situations that will arise in your school that you will be able to take decisions without consulting anybody or without following any procedure. The situation that arises, like emergency situations, will demand emergency decision. So all such situations that will arise, that will result to taking decisions immediately without consulting any decision is referred to as non-programmed decision. Now we have the intermediary decision. Intermediary decision. These are decisions in response to requests from superior officer for an assignment to be carried out by a lower officer. These are decisions in response to a request from superior officer for an assignment to be carried out by a lower officer, a lower ranking officer. For example, if the VC issues a directive, to the head of department on certain actions to be taken in the department, the head of department is now acting based on the directive from the vice chancellor or the directive from a superior officer. It could be the dean of the faculty issuing a directive to the head of department, or the lecturers being handed down directive from the head of department, and you see them implementing such decision in the classroom. When such type of thing happen, it is called intermediary decision. Intermediary decision. That is decisions resulting from directive from superior officers to lower officers. If the vice chancellor gives directive to the dean of faculty, then the dean of faculty acts based on the directive given by the vice chancellor. Such type of decision is called intermediary decision. Please understand it well. There are decisions that are resulting from directive from a superior officer to a lower officer on what to do. So when we get directive from a higher officer on what to do concerning a particular issue, then such type of decision is called intermediary decision, because the decision is coming from above. Now we have the appellate decision. The appellate decision. This type of decision arises when the subordinate refers problem to the superior. Remember, intermediary, the superior refers problems to the subordinate. But in this case now, the subordinate refers problems to the superior officer for guidelines on what to do. As a school principal, you have a problem situation on hand, you do not know how to solve that problem, you now refer to the director of schools board to give you directive on what to do. For example, assuming in your school, the community where the school is located is encroaching into school land, and in that case you do not know what to do. Here you have to refer to the director of schools board or commissioner for education for guidance. When they give you guidance on what to do, such type of decision comes under appellate decision. When such type of decision is taken, it's called appellate decision. So we have been able to explain 4 types of decision here that the school administrator is prone to making. One is the program decision making, the non-program decision making, the appellate decision making, and the intermediary decision making. All right, so having explained that, let's quickly look at how the school administrator should be able to develop competencies in decision making. Otherwise, the areas the school administrator should be able to develop competencies, that is skills, in handling decision making capabilities, in his ability to make decisions. The areas the school administrator need to develop competencies in his ability to make decisions in the school. The areas include: 1. Competencies in differentiating among types of decision, who makes them, and when each type of decision can be made. As a school principal, you have to know this to your fingertips. The ability to differentiate among types of decision, as we have enumerated them here and explained them. As a school head, you should be able to know the types of decisions available to you. You should be able to differentiate them and know who makes which type and the other type. 2. Competency in knowing his area of jurisdiction in decision making and the role expectations of his subordinates. As a school principal, you should be able to know the areas you have the competence to make this decision and the role of your subordinates in the implementation of those decisions. Why this is important? Because in most schools you see principals making decisions and those decisions are not implemented. Perhaps they are afraid, whether they don't know whether they have made the right or wrong decision. Possibly because they are not aware that they have the power, they have the jurisdiction to make such decision. So as a school principal, you should be able to know the areas of your competence in decision making. You should be able to know the roles the subordinates, being the teachers, should play in the implementation of the decisions you have made. If you make a decision, for example, that by 8 o'clock everybody should be in the class and classes should begin, and you must ensure that such decision is implemented by teachers and students, or else what you have just mentioned is a mere intention. It becomes mere intention. It's just your intention. A decision is not a decision until it has been implemented, until it has been put into action, before it can be called a decision. So the school principal should be able to know the areas of his jurisdiction in decision making. 3. Competency in determining the amount and type of information needed to reach a decision. The school principal should be able to determine the amount and type of information he needs to reach a decision. Decision is not just something you jump into. It's something you look into several alternatives and then make a choice. So you will need to have information relating to all the options available to you. Alright? If something happens in the school, you don't just rush into taking a decision. You must be able to do the necessary consultations, get the necessary information you need on that issue. And when you get the necessary information you need on the issue, this will now enable you to begin to choose among the several options the best among them, so that you don't make mistakes, so that you don't regret your action, so that you don't be in a haste to take decision, or you don't make hasty decisions on issue. That is why you have to understand the rudiments and procedures and the area of your competence and the choices you have to make before a decision is taken. Now, 4. Competency in determining the appropriate involvement of other people in decision-making process. Competency in determining the appropriate involvement of other people in decision-making process. Now, as a school head, it is not to make a decision is not a sole responsibility of you. You must understand that other people also have their stakeholders and have a role to play. They have involvement in decision making. So when a decision is to be taken, you must be able to know where others will be involved. For example, if there is a decision to be taken concerning sports in your school, there is every need for you to consult with the sports master or sports mistress, because that is their area of jurisdiction. They have information to give, and they have guide in that area. So the information they will give you will also help you to take decisions. You don't just go and take decisions without involving them, and then you come and make the pronouncement. You saw such decision might not work because they are not involved. There are the decisions that will affect students. You have to consult with the student leader and then see, with this problem now, what do? They make their input. Based on the information they will give you, you now rely on that to make a good decision. When you make such decision, you see everybody will comply. Alright. So decisions too that also have to do with the entire school and the community where the school is located. You consult community leaders on such issues and you make a decision. For example, you want to fix an inter-house sports date in the school. Inter-house sports, you will invite parents, you invite community leaders, you invite stakeholders. So in that case, don't just take a decision, because the date you will take might coincide with when they have a community activity or community festival. So you have to consult with them. They give you all the necessary information. You come back and use those information to make your decision. So in that case, now you come up with sound decision. Then number 5, competency in establishing priorities and rank the priorities according to their importance. Now, in making decision, you will consider several options. You consider several options. Among the several options, you rank them first, second, third, fourth, according to their priority. According to the priority. And then based on those priorities, now make a choice. When you do this, you will be able to make good decision. But if you are hasty in decision making, you will always make bad decisions. And when you make bad decisions, the end result will be bad actions. People will respond negatively to such decisions. So then the next, number 6, is competency in anticipating both intended and unintended consequences. Now, when you want to make a decision, you must look at the options. When you look at those options, you now consider, oh, we take this one. What is the consequence? The good and bad. You weigh the bad side, you weigh the good side. If the good outweighs the bad, you take such decision. If the bad outweighs the good, you abandon such decision. So it is always important that before you take any action or any decision, you should be able to examine the outcome, the anticipated outcome, that the intended good and bad. The intended good and bad. What are the consequences of this decision? If we take this decision, what are the consequences? Will it give us good effect or will it give us bad effect? So based on that, you will now know you want to decide on. Then number 7 now, competencies in ensuring that decisions are geared towards achieving educational objective. Above all, the decisions you will make must be such that when you embark on the action, it is this decision that will result in achieving the purpose for which the educational institution is established. Above all, decisions you will make must be decisions that will aid the actualization of the objective for which your institution was established. So these are the guidelines, these are the principles guiding decision making in school. So here in this lecture, we have been able to explain the meaning of decision making from the point of view of 3 scholars or 3 academic definitions. We have also been able to look at types of decision to include the program decision, non-program decision, intermediary decisions, and appellate decision. We have also been able to look at the decision-making competencies of school administrators. That's areas where the school administrator need to develop competencies in decision making. My dear students, on that note, the class is a brief one. We want to end the class. I wish you safe stay at home. Continue staying at home as directed. Keep social distancing. Always wash your hands clean. Use hand sanitizers where necessary. God bless you.